hoping to inspire you with some nourishing, healthy, kid approved, homemade breakfast ideas. I make both of these at least once a week. This first one is a sourdough Dutch baby. I love it because it has so many eggs in it, so it's very high in protein. In addition to the sourdough that's already high in protein, it's super fast and it's filling. I can whip it up so quickly. I honestly don't even measure anymore, but I will put the recipe. So if you like to measure things out, it will be down in the description box, or just to give you an idea of. You'll need about 6 large eggs. Our baby chicks are finally starting to lay, so a couple of our eggs are really tiny. I show them here in a second. They're so cute. So instead of doing 6, I did 7. And then 2 cups of sourdough starter, approximately. My mason jar that I keep my starter in actually is labeled on the side by the cups, so that's kind of nice, so I could tell that it was about 2 cups. 1/3 cup of milk. I like to use whole milk, and half a teaspoon of salt. A good quality salt would make it even more nourishing. 1 teaspoon of vanilla and 2 tablespoons of either maple syrup or honey. I always just opt for the honey because I feel like we have more of it than the maple syrup, and it's just easy to squirt about a tablespoon to just visualize that tablespoon instead of having to dirty up a spoon. But with maple syrup, it just comes out so quickly, it's not as easy. And then last is just the 6 tablespoons of butter that you put in the pan. So it's so simple. I love that it doesn't dirty up very many dishes. That's the honey that I just squirted in. It's actually local honey. I kind of hate the guy who puts it in the bare container, but it is local. And then, yeah, here I am just feeding my starter since I just used 2 cups of it and it needs fed anyway. So it was sourdough discard, what I put in there. I have never actually done this Dutch baby with sourdough, like an active sourdough starter, but I would think it would turn out just fine. It might even make it, puff up a little bit more. Mine always turn out pretty dense, but I love them because they're like kind of dense and fluffy in the inside, but then kind of crispy on the outside. And then there's all my canning jars over there because I'm about to can a bunch of applesauce from the apples that we picked from our tree. And then this pan here, if you use cast iron skillets, and you probably put the oil in it way quicker than I do, but that one just dried and got a little rusty looking, so I just went ahead and put some olive oil in it and heated the pan up, so it's good to go. And then here I'm gonna throw in the 6 tablespoons of butter, and it's so simple because you put the butter just right there in the pan and then throw it into the oven, and while you're mixing up the rest of the dough, it's in the oven just melting. I would say this recipe definitely takes 20 minutes tops, like 5 minutes to throw this stuff together and then about 15 minutes to bake. And you can have breakfast that quickly. A nourishing, better for your family breakfast in 20 minutes. throwing some frozen blueberries in it before I put it in the oven. I always have frozen blueberries on hand, so they're the thing that's usually put in there, but I've used raspberries and strawberries before. I would say any kind of berry is safe and delicious in this Dutch baby. And better yet, it can be frozen or fresh fruit. So if you have some fruit that's about to go bad, go ahead and throw it in there. There are regular Dutch baby recipes out there as well, but I just prefer the sourdough because obviously I have a sourdough starter. So why not make it fermented? Fermented food for my family. And we always just drizzle a little bit of honey on, not honey, maple syrup on top, and some whipped cream. Homemade whipped cream would be even better, but we just had the can for this morning. So high in protein, such good nourishment to start the day, and I hope that your little ones like it as much as mine. I love that they are getting something made from scratch right out of the gates and something that's so good for them. I hope your family enjoys them as well. And then my next part of this video is another breakfast idea. I make homemade granola. It's supposed to be like purely Elizabeth copycat recipe, and it really does taste so much like it. It's so delicious. So here first I am going to make some oat flour. I literally used to mill my oat flour in bulk because I make perfect bars, like the copycat perfect bars too with it. And then I realized it's so simple to just throw it in the food processor. I love this little food processor. It's just from Amazon. It's not any kind of name brand, probably straight from China, but it at least is glass. My mother-in-law actually got it for me when my baby was eating or needing to eat more soft foods, even though we do mostly baby-led weaning, but every once in a while it'd be easy just to throw everything that I cooked in there and he could have that. But now I mostly use it to mill or to chop up and make flour, oat flour. So I made way too much because you only need about a half a cup. So I am saving another half a cup for the next time I am going to go make this granola. So you'll see here in a second, I just put it in a mason jar and it's perfectly fine until the next time you need to use it. So for this recipe, you need about a fourth a cup of oat flour. I think I might have said a half a cup, but it's only a fourth a cup that you need. About 3 cups of rolled oats, 1/3 cup of melted coconut oil, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, and I say approximately again, approximately 2 tablespoons of the natural creamy almond butter, and then a half a teaspoon of vanilla, a fourth a teaspoon of sea salt, and a fourth a teaspoon of cinnamon, a fourth a teaspoon of baking soda, and a fourth a cup of protein powder. And then for the chocolate chips, I would also say about a fourth a cup, but you can decide. We probably do way more than a fourth a cup. I really should call this granola recipe like 1/4 granola because it's like everything is 1/4. But yeah, here I am now just putting all of that together. You'll see that I'm approximating, like it's not exactly, and it turns out just fine. I would just make sure to do, the rolled oats, the oat flour, the coconut oil, that to be exact, just for the consistency to be right. But for the seasonings and stuff, you don't have to be exactly a fourth a teaspoon or whatever it is. I like to bake and cook like that because as mothers, we are very limited on time. So the least amount of dishes we have to dirty and the least amount of thought we have to put into recipes, I think is the better, at least for this current season of life that I am in. So here I am throwing in that a fourth a cup of protein powder. I forgot to mix it in earlier, and so now I'm just mixing it in here at the end. By the way, I love that Simply Terra's protein powder. If you are looking for one that is not terribly expensive, it lasts a long time, and you can get it from Amazon, and it's a good, clean ingredient. So I think there's only like 3 or 4 ingredients in it. It's a good one. So here I am melting my coconut oil. I was also like meal prepping back there. That's why there's some bacon. I was meal prepping and making some potato soup. This is like in the night when my kids are already in bed. So I was just making this so we could have a very easy, quick breakfast in the morning. And then again, here I am just guesstimating with the maple syrup. I love that this recipe is just sweetened with maple syrup. There's no sugar in it. There's chocolate chips, so there's a little bit of sugar, but it's not terrible compared to how much sugar they put in actual cereal. So it's a little bit better for you, and I love that the cost of making it is so much cheaper than it would be to buy Purely Elizabeth's, and you get so much more. So, and again, I would say it's easily a 15-20 minute recipe just to throw this all together, bake it, and then you have some good easy breakfast options for our family. It could last a couple days at least. But we obviously don't eat it this right in a row. Like, we spread it out. We don't eat the same thing every morning. But yeah, so this will need to be baked for about 30 minutes though on that super low temp of 325. So the way I'm doing it is I just put this together, threw it in the oven while I did dishes before going to bed. This does need to be stored in an airtight container. I put it in a 1/2 gallon mason jar, you'll see at the end, and it can be stored for up to 2 weeks at room temperature, or in the fridge you can store it for up to 1 month. So if you don't go through as quickly as we do, you can keep it in the fridge for a month. Something to note, and notice that I didn't put the chocolate chips on there yet. You want to wait till the end to put the chocolate chips, and actually when you take it out of the oven, wait about 5 minutes and then add them in so they're a little bit melted but not too much. And that's what I'm doing here. And then you just kind of mix it up and then let it cool all the way, and then put it in that airtight container, and you are good to go. Again, I hope this motivates you to go make some breakfast meals for your family that is nourishing and healthy and all the things. But this one, you can meal prep it beforehand and make your life much easier in the future. Sure. Thank you for watching. May God bless you and keep you. to cleaning